Yeah. Unemployable, regrettable, irresponsible, uneducated, unprofessional. These are just some of the many negative words that are typically associated with people who have tattoos. There's a lot of negative stigma around tattoos, even though with each generation, more and more people are getting tattoos in our society. A recent poll showed that 1 in 5 people, 20% of people, have at least one tattoo. And in another study, that statistic doubled when they looked at the millennial generation. And they said that 40% of people from the age of 18 to 29 have at least one tattoo. So if tattoos are becoming so popular and so common, why does this stigma still exist? I think that this stigma exists because our society fails to see tattoos as anything more than simple body modification. Body modification is defined simply as just altering the human anatomy or the human physical appearance. People just see us as changing our appearance for whatever the reason, and they fail to see the true meaning behind the artwork. But if we look at cultures all throughout history, tattoos have always been more than just body modification, and they've been used as really critical and important aspects in lots of different types of societies. We can even trace tattoos back to ancient Egypt. Some of the first mummies that they found with tattoos in ancient Egypt were all female. And this, assumedly because of the stigma that surrounds tattoos, early researchers thought that these tattoos were used to identify and to mark prostitutes and lower-class citizens, dancing girls, sex traffickers. But as they continued to find more and more bodies and more types of people throughout society that had tattoos, they started finding other females with tattoos, males with tattoos, even people who were royalty had tattoos, priests and priestesses had tattoos. And what they concluded was that people in ancient Egypt used tattoos for important aspects of their culture in many different types of ways. One of the most powerful examples of this is that image all the way to the right there. One of the most common tattoos that they found on female mummies was this series of dots and dashes all across the lower abdomen of a woman. And what they believe is that this tattoo was used to protect the fertility of the woman and the unborn child while it was in the woman's womb. The dots and dashes, as the stomach grew, turned into this net-like structure that literally encased an unborn child in a protective barrier to keep it safe from the rest of the world. And if we continue to look through ancient Egypt, we find statues and drawings and depictions of all different kinds of people in society who had meaningful and important tattoos for whatever the different reasons were. Even here in the United States, we started to see popular tattoos because of sailors and soldiers who were traveling all over the world, seeing these different cultures who used tattoos in these really important and meaningful ways, and it inspired them to get tattoos of their own when they came back to the United States. They'd get tattoos for good luck, or they'd get tattoos of their birthdays, or the names of their favorite ships, or very patriotic tattoos to commemorate their country. They'd even get tattoos of anchors to protect them from drowning, or they'd get tattoos of land animals to represent their desire to get back to land after months and months of being at sea. And they were so inspired by all these other cultures, they came back to the United States, and tattoo popularity spread all up and down the east and west coasts and slowly moved inland so that eventually it was a nationwide trend all throughout the United States. One of these early cultures that inspired those sailors was Polynesian culture. In ancient Polynesian cultures, at least in some of the societies, there was really no rating system. So they would use tattoos and these artworks on their body to communicate with other people about their identity, about their personality. They would use these for structures within society, what your profession was, what your hierarchy, what your status was in the society. They would even use tattoos to link family members together. Much how we use last names today, they would use tattoos and similar tattoos across family members to let people know that they were all part of the same tribe or all part of the same family unit. And even in some Polynesian societies, tattoo artists, the people who actually were giving people the tattoos, that was one of the highest and most prestigious positions within the Polynesian society. And when somebody wanted to get a tattoo, that act in and of itself, they would throw big ceremonies and celebrations, and a person's friends and family would all come to this celebration to watch this person get a tattoo because it was that much of a meaningful part of their culture. And these are just a few examples, right? Ancient Greeks and ancient Romans used tattoos to demonstrate their devotion to certain gods, to indicate profession, to indicate status in society. Even before sailors brought tattoos to the United States, Native Americans were using tattoos for rituals and religious purposes and even medicinal purposes. They would use tattoos to represent battle victories, or they would tattoo symbols of spirits that were protective in nature that keep them safe from harm. Or even on the medicinal end, they would use tattooing to heal things like arthritis and toothaches, much how we see acupuncture used today. So we see all of these really meaningful and important uses of tattoos in all these cultures, but what does that really mean for us today, right? Tattoos have this really rich and important history, but they've still just been boiled down to just simple body modification in our current society. We all have different reasons for getting tattoos, right? There's some of us who really love getting tattoos. There's some of us who get tattoos very frequently. We're covered, head to toe in tattoos. I like to call those of us who are like that, I call us tattoo enthusiasts, right? Sounds really fancy, I know. So tattoo enthusiasts, right? We all get tattoos for different reasons, but I think there's at least one thing that all tattoo enthusiasts have in common. We definitely don't just see our tattoos as simple body modification. For me, as a tattoo enthusiast, my tattoos are critically important aspects of who I am as a person and how I express myself to the rest of the world. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. My tattoos are critical aspects of my personal identity and my self-expression. We have a lot of other things that make up our personal identity, right? Race, sex, ethnicity, sexual orientation, our religion, even our expression, right? The way that we communicate with people, the way that we wear our hair, the clothes that we wear. And people don't usually comment, or at least negatively comment, about these other aspects of identity or expression. And if they do comment negatively about them, we label it as prejudice, as harassment, as discrimination. But people can talk about tattoos, even though those are also critical aspects of identity, people can talk about tattoos in very negative ways, and nobody seems to care about that. As a tattoo enthusiast, we've all heard the same kinds of things. Why would you do that to yourself, right? What if this wasn't about tattoos, okay? What if this was about some other aspect of identity? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you wear the clothes that you wear? Why would you wear the hair that you wear? If someone just walked up to you and started questioning aspects of your expression, we wouldn't let that fly. What about this one? Do you have any idea what that means? Are you really sure you want to get that? Again, what if this wasn't about tattoos? What if this was, do you have any idea what it means to be a Christian? Are you really sure you want to be a Muslim? Are you sure that you want to be Jewish? And this next one we've all heard plenty of times. All right, fine. Go ahead and get a tattoo, but at least put it somewhere where nobody can see it. Again, what if this was about some other aspect of identity? Go ahead and be gay, go ahead and be trans, whatever you are, but I don't want to have to look at it. I don't want to have to see it. I don't want other people to have to look at it or to have to see it. And this last one really gets me going. I don't approve of tattoos. Right? I don't want to hire somebody who has tattoos. Again, what if this was about other aspects of identity? What if somebody said to you, I don't want to hire you because of the color of your skin? Or I don't want to hire you because you're in a wheelchair. We would never be okay with any of this language if it was about any other aspect of identity or expression, but when it's about tattoos, everybody seems to think it's totally fine. Now, is it a perfect comparison to say that tattoo discrimination is the same as racism or as sexism or as homophobia? No, not really. But it illustrates the point that I'm trying to make. Everybody seems totally fine with people discriminating against others just because they have tattoos. let's go back and look at this one right here. So tattoos are becoming more and more popular in our society, right? More and more people have them. But people can still be fired for visible tattoos at the drop of a hat. And even when people try to fight it, right, they sue, they say, well, this is discrimination. You're discriminating against me. So they sue their employer for a violation of their First Amendment right. They sue their employer saying, you're violating my freedom of expression. And you know what happens? Most of those cases, the courts will side with the employer almost every single time. The courts will say that an employer has a right to portray a certain kind of image to its customers. And if someone with tattoos doesn't fit in that image that they're trying to put forward, it's totally okay for an employer to discriminate against that person because they have tattoos. I can never be fired or not hired because I wear short hair, right? I couldn't be fired because I'm female, but I wear a shirt and tie to work every day. Why can I be fired for my tattoos when those are just as much of a critical aspect of who I am as a person and how I express myself as any of these other aspects? If we continue to fail to see tattoos as these critical aspects of identity and expression, more and more people are going to keep getting tattoos. This stigma is still going to exist, and employers are going to miss out on so much talent. Because let's face it, the fact that somebody has tattoos has absolutely no impact on their work ethic or their ability to do a job. Even as I was getting ready to come do this TED Talk today, right, I wanted you to take me seriously. I wanted you to listen to what I had to say. I wanted you to know that I was well educated, that I'm a good speaker, that I'm a good presenter. So I came out here all nice and formal, all buttoned up in a shirt and tie, right? I'm giving a talk about tattoo acceptance, and I'm still too nervous to come out here and show you exactly who I really am because I don't want you to unfairly judge me just because I have tattoos. I shouldn't have to worry about that, right? Right? Exactly, right? I shouldn't have to worry that you'll judge me based on what I look like and not on what I have to say. So let's try this here instead. Oh, I know. Oh yeah. All right. Oh. Thank you. I know. So nice, right? So nice. I should be able to stand here just like this, right? Show you exactly who I am as a person, every aspect of my personal identity and expression, and trust that you will judge me based on the content of what I have to say and not on what I look like. We have to get rid of this negative stigma around tattoos, and just like all those other cultures that we talked about all throughout history, start seeing tattoos for what they really and truly are. Critically important aspects of personal identity and self-expression. Now, am I saying that everybody should run out right now and get a tattoo? No, of course not. If you want to go get one, call me. I will totally go with you. Tattoos aren't for everybody, right? And that's totally okay. But for those of us who really love our tattoos, for those of us who are tattoo enthusiasts, right? For those of us who really truly believe that tattoos are integral aspects of who we are as a person, don't question our reliability. Don't question our professionalism, right? Just let us be who we are. Treat us with respect when we earn it. Don't let that negative stigma around tattoos affect the way that you interact with the people who have them. And I'll leave you today with one of my favorite quotes about tattoos. Tattoos are about owning our identity in the world. They're about proclaiming who we are without having to say a single word. People with tattoos have an unbreakable sense of their authentic selves. Thank you.